And it is now time to initiate our double main event because the next two categories are the final ones. The first one being Female Superstar of the Year, followed by Male Superstar of the Year. So without any further ado, talking about the Women's Revolution, we have 10 different women considered for this category. So Rhino, read it.
Alrighty, Female Superstar of the Year nominees are Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Asuka, Bayley, Becky Lynch, Dana Brooke, Nikki Bella, Carmella, Alexa Bliss, and Nia Jax.
I'd like to start this show with a showstopper.
Uh-oh.
We should cut Sasha Banks.
Whoa.
This is I'm hoping you're cutting in no particular priority because there's about quite a few names that should be cut before Sasha Banks.
There is absolutely names that should be cut before Sasha Banks, but I think we're going to get there anyway. Think about how much of this year we have complained about Sasha Banks. Yes, she has been front and center, but how many times has Juan said, Sasha Banks used to be my favorite wrestler, but... And Sasha has almost... It feels like she's almost failed despite herself. Like, character-wise, it's not where it should be. Match-wise, it's great, but
yeah.
Most matches have the Sasha Banks looks like she probably died scenario in this match. And I would pick three women that I would put higher than Sasha Banks, and I think we will eventually cut her. So I just want to get it out of the way.
Ooh, well, I don't quite know what the top three is gonna look like yet. So can we just like cool down for a second? And, like,
Keith was wasting no time, man. He just wanted the beginning of the movie. He wanted the climax.
I had not decided my top three yet, so really want to slow down there. Slow down, cowboy.
There was just one too many cries this year. One too many my hero's Eddie Guerrero. One too many just breaking character moments that really just started to wear on me with Sasha. And
yeah, well, let's get rid of the obvious cuts here. Like Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke is gone. I mean,
yes.
I don't think I'm going to get any arguments here.
Dana
probably should not have even been on the list. Let's be real, folks.
She definitely took many steps back this year. Like, she was in a very good place earlier this year, but once she hit the main roster, just never got her stride.
Nia Jax.
Nia Jax gone. Just hasn't done enough this year yet to really be significant.
Yeah, 2017 could be a good year. I see maybe Carmella or Nikki Bella.
I think Carmella is worth cutting. She was a big part of Breakout Star of the Year, but when it comes to female superstar, I just don't think Carmella has done enough this year. Like, she's had one big feud, and to be real, the match quality of that is mediocre when there's other people having great matches around her. So I'm okay with cutting Carmella in this one.
But not Nikki Bella?
No, Nikki Bella can go too.
I was going to say, you can't stand here and tell me
I agree.
You're going to cut Sasha Banks but keep Nikki Bella. No. I'm just not going to have that.
I can get behind that.
Okay.
And they're both solid picks. Like, they're not top three.
I just don't think their catalog for 2016 is enough to put them at superstar, female superstar of the year. Now, let's talk about Bayley. Bayley is interesting. She kind of had a little bit of a teaser match on the main roster, then did officially get called up to Raw. I would say her run so far on Raw has been pretty disappointing. So you could she just really hasn't done enough yet. So you probably have to consider most of her NXT run this year as kind of the justification for
the high
being
point
there.
of Bayley's NXT run was not this year.
Yeah, it was 2015.
Yeah, so
exactly.
I don't think Bayley's found her stride yet on the main roster, and for this year, I think we should cut her.
Yeah, if anything, 2016 was the year where at early 2016 we were just thinking, when are you going to move her up? She's got nothing else to do.
Bailey's a lot like American Alpha that way.
Yeah, exactly. It's waiting to
totally.
happen. 2017, a lot of promise, but they're gone. So we do have 5 picks right now. So the next 2 are going to be key. We have Charlotte. Sasha Banks is still there right now. Asuka, Becky Lynch, and Alexa Bliss. So I'm assuming the next 2 to be talked about are Sasha Banks and whoa. Oof, okay. Sasha Banks and who?
Honestly, and Juan, this comes down to you've watched NXT more than me, so I would like your opinion on it more, but Asuka I would cut. Because what did Asuka really do besides dominate the women in NXT? Like, was it really that?
Which is kind of significant, but...
It's significant, but there wasn't, like... That gets old in a way where you're this, especially if you're the champion, where you just don't have any contenders and you run through the entire division. How much fun is that throughout an entire year? And would that scenario be able to put her with the other people on this list that I would consider? Probably not.
Yeah, it's a really tough spot with Asuka because even in her match with Bayley, when we were talking about best pay-per-views, I wasn't a huge fan of that match. That match was lacking something. Now, what are the key benefits of Asuka, right? Number 1, legitimacy. She goes into the ring and she feels legit. She feels like she can really take somebody down. She's not trying to be a fighter. She's not trying to look like a wrestler. She is one, and a believable one at that. What I don't think Asuka brings to the table is afterwards. When you have Sasha Banks versus Bayley, or Charlotte versus Bayley, any of the combinations that we got with the that is edited into the correct. So, because apparently I am getting my words mixed up, I'm going to say the 4 horsewomen are the 4 people that we are talking about right now. There was emotion, there was growth, there were many different things that were happening. With Asuka, you have a good match, and that's about where it ends, where there's nothing else. Her match with Mickie James, it was all right, but I have no reason to go back and watch that match. So, great title reign, believable champion, believable superstar, but I don't think she's a top 3.
Yeah, I mean, the thing we can say about Asuka is she didn't quite have the benefit in NXT that Sasha, Charlotte, Becky, all of them had, where they had so many, they could work with so many people. You know, they had a whole crew of people that were just amazing. And right now it's Asuka and everybody else. And in a lot of ways, you're only as good as your competition. And because she is kind of just the lone person in the division in NXT that's really kind of carrying the torch, she's kind of suffers for it.
Ryan, you're pretty much the only person that can determine whether Sasha stays or goes. So what's your take on that?
Looking at everything, I think I would still put Sasha Banks in my top 3, purely because she and Charlotte have had the best female, they've been involved in the best female matches of the year. I agree. Sasha Banks' character needs a lot of work. Becky Lynch, to me, is a more likable babyface. That's why it's really, I don't know. I feel like Sasha would still be number 3.
Give me your top 3.
All right, my top 3.
In no
I
order.
would have to go.
It doesn't have to be in order.
I would have to go Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte. I really want Becky in there, but I feel like...
Honestly, I would put Becky over Sasha, and it would be Charlotte, Becky, Alexa. Just... Yes, Sasha has had one of the most important year on the female roster, but it always started feeling like this is all happening despite itself. Like it was more on the Charlotte end than the Sasha end, because through the entire thing, we even on the podcast, you can go and listen to it, talk about how like this is all happening almost despite Sasha, because we always had these complaints about Sasha, how Charlotte was evolving as a character and Sasha was staying exactly the same. And the other people on this list, I would say Becky the least, but still more than Sasha, continued to evolve as the year went on, where Sasha barely had anything. Like the world was moving around her, and we're still not even there at the time of this recording. Like from where these, I know this isn't like a breakout thing, but where these women started out to where they are now, as far as like character development, wrestling ability, they are so much better than Sasha right now.
Yeah, I think in any movie,
good, don't get me wrong, but these are better.
Yeah, it's not that's not debatable at all. I mean, it is debatable. I guess I should say. Where she is good in the ring. Man, it's just been a couple of hours up to this point. But in any movie, the character is supposed to grow. In any TV show, the character is supposed to grow. You look at Charlotte. We don't even need to make a case for that because she was top 3 in heel of the year. When you look at Becky Lynch, Becky went from the other woman that got called up from NXT to being one of the top women on SmackDown. You look at Alexa Bliss, and yeah, there was something that people already knew was great about her in NXT, but it flourished on SmackDown Live. They gave her a microphone, and she was able to do something with it. Her facial expressions, she's solid in the ring. She's the overall package. Then you look at Sasha Banks. Compare Sasha Banks NXT to Sasha Banks main roster. It's a downscale. It's a downgrade. I do not think that Sasha in the main roster is nearly as good as Sasha NXT. Sasha NXT, if she was here now, she would be like my top superstar. Like overall, like whatever. Like I don't care the category. She will be at the top of the list for me. So that's why I don't think she should make top 3, despite the fact that the potential, the talent, the ability, and the character is there. It's just not there right now.
You guys make a good case. I really didn't want to cut Becky Lynch anyway. So with all that being said, I will have to agree with you guys. I guess I will cut Sasha Banks. It was really because her and Charlotte had both put on some of the best women's matches of the year. I was very hesitant to cut Sasha, but her character standpoint is severely lacking. And like you said, if we're talking about someone who still hasn't surpassed their NXT self, then it's really tough to make a case for them to stay on the list.
And really, that point that you want to make sure we hit is being included with Charlotte.
She just gets to take all of it.
Honestly, though, I do think that like at this point it is mostly Charlotte. Like I know it takes 2 people to make a great match, and you're only as good as the person that you're up against. But Charlotte has been the one that's flourished.
Waiting for the hate to come to keep right on that one.
Charlotte is the one that has flourished in this feud more than Sasha. I will back that up.
I agree 598%. So that is why the top 3 are as follows. We have Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Alexa Bliss. Does anybody have any order they would like to propose?
I'll propose my order. I will go Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte. Alexa Bliss has really, she deserves number 2 because she has, it's still very early for her, but she has done a lot in a very short amount of time. She's been on the roster essentially for a half of a year, but is still really broken out and solidified herself as a big part of the SmackDown women's division. But Charlotte, with her being, in contention for heel of the year, having fantastic matches, she's kind of really hit every point, which is why she would be number 1.
I agree.
Now, excellent list there. And it goes to show just how great the roster has been for the woman. Think about, everybody listening, think about the WWE roster 5 years ago. Could you have 10 women that you can make an argument about for a Woman of the Year or a Female Superstar of the Year? I don't think you could do 5. Because it would be either bra and panties matches or schoolboy roll-ups on a pole match. It would be these stupid things that only made it as a detriment to women. But now it's gotten to the point. No, Keith, stop overthinking that.
I'm trying to think how you would schoolboy roll up on a pole, and that sounds like a bad time.
Without further ado, folks, the female superstar of the year is as follows. At number 3, we do have Becky Lynch, because she is straight fire.
Becky Balboa.
Becky Balboa, indeed. At number 2, we have the cosplay queen / mean queen / the witch / the other word she does say, but I won't say it, Alexa Bliss. And then at number 1, our female superstar of the year. And I legitimately cannot believe this is happening, because it goes to show the progress as somebody that could not stand Charlotte at the beginning of the year is Charlotte Flair. Congratulations to the woman for an awesome year, for being a historic year for the WWE, despite the fact that they do say it every week. I'm not saying it because of that. I'm not, guys.
Right,
I'm not in denial. Fine. The road has been lengthy, but all good things must come to an end. So without further ado, the next category is the final one for the 2016 BT Awards, and that is the Male Superstar of the Year.